We've been talking a lot about silver, but like you said, you're also really bullish on gold. I would love to get your outlook. What do you see driving prices in the long term?
To me, gold is just simply in a bull market. It began in the early 2000s. First wave took it from 250 to 1900. We had a correction within the secular bull market. And now we're embarked upon a third wave that will take it way past new highs. I would argue that even before COVID became a thing over a year ago, or not even a year ago, gold had already reached 1800. So gold was already in a bull market before the pandemic. To me, all the pandemic has served to do is to make people now understand that the question of money and what really is money, when clearly it can be printed at will. And it used to be that $1 billion here and $1 billion there, and you were talking about real money, as the old joke went. Well, now we're dealing with trillions. Now, the good news is that I believe that gold companies will throw off massive amounts of cash and create great dividend stories, even if growth is much, much harder to come by. And the truth is, if you make a discovery today, it's probably going to take you 20 years to take it to the point where it's producing something, maybe 10. So if Barrick is right and silver production is declining by about 5% a year, once you start getting into very lower grades, you become extremely, extremely dependent on making technological bets. And I find that personally a little disturbing. So, we look for things which are big and have high grade, either high grade vein systems or, the ultimate, of course, are great, huge open pits with a few grams of gold, like we have at Donlin at Nova Gold. That's the ultimate.
Well, I was going to say, so that's Nova Gold. That's the Donlin project. What's the timeline for that? I know you guys just finished the biggest drill program in 12 years. What's next for Nova Gold and Donlin?
Well, we've had a couple of really great white swans, which have occurred over the last several years. There has been a definite warmth between our teams, which, I jokingly say has more Barrick DNA than the Barrick team, but the Nova Gold team, many of whom hail from Barrick, and Barrick, under the leadership of Mark Bristow. Mark is a renowned geologist in his own right. So we have undertaken a program, which is a follow-on to a program that we conducted in 2017, where we encountered higher grades and some really spectacular intervals. I think some of the best in the gold industry in that year. And Mark really wants to get to the bottom of all this. And his attitude, I think, is very reasonable.
Well, and I was going to say, like a project with 39 million ounces. I mean, that, you talk about declining resources, miners not finding new ounces in the ground. This project is, I think you've described it as a category killer. I mean, at some point, it has to get built.
So we've always believed that the potential is for excellent results in being able to expand from 39 million ounces to much more. Now, take into account that 8-kilometer belt represents only 5% of the land package, which has never been systematically explored outside of that belt. And, starting out with almost 40 million ounces, if you take into account other resources closer to 50, with a grade that is over 2 grams a ton, how much over we'll know shortly, that is a category killer. Alaska is the second largest gold producer in a country which still apparently very much adheres to the rule of law. and where private property is sacred, and it's on native corporation land already designated by law for mining. And the native corporations are our biggest allies. So when you have partners, whether it's such an incredibly powerful major like Barrick, or your native corporation partners in Alaska, you're in really great shape. And that is, to me, what makes it unique, because we have all the attributes of any of the greatest gold deposits out there, but we're located in a jurisdiction where when I go to sleep at night, I know that what I thought I owned the night before I still own. And as someone who made their bones in Bolivia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Congo, I could go on, I believe that era is over. So Donlin for us, because of its jurisdictional safety and other geological virtues, is for us the Holy Grail. And I think that will be a gift that keeps on giving for decades and decades to come. And for that reason, it really is, our flagship asset.
I was going to say, you're giving me lots of headlines for this interview. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
The pleasure is all mine, Niels. Great to see you as always.